Hey guys, my name is Hannah. I'm one of the coaches here at Set Free. I wanted to talk to you guys today just about self-care. I know that can be kind of a term thrown around a lot, but I think it's worth knowing what it is, and it's worth knowing how it can fit into your life. But first, let's do a little crash course on mental health because those of you who don't know, that's my thing. I'm in the field. I hopefully will become a clinical social worker. There is a difference between mental health and mental illness. Not a lot of people know this, but it, again, worth knowing. So, mental health is something that everybody has. If you hear of anybody that says, I don't have mental health, they're wrong. If you are human, you have mental health. Mental health is kind of like a spectrum. And on one side of the spectrum is healthy living, healthy mental health, good mental health. So it gets good to bad. As you start going down the spectrum, it's more of reacting. So you're more reactionary to the circumstances in your life. Regardless if they're huge or small, you're starting to kind of slip a little. And then we get to the second half of it, and this is poor mental health all the way to mental illness. So that is the difference between mental health and mental illness, is we all have mental health. It's a spectrum. It's just like physical health. Some people have good physical health, some people have bad physical health, and we can range in between it it could be throughout the day. It doesn't even have to be throughout the week. So some cool statistics, I don't know if this is cool actually, some statistics, 1 in 5 adults will struggle with a mental illness in their life. And remember, that's the bottom half of bad mental health. Actually, 3/4 of the population by age 24 will have struggled with a mental illness. And what I thought was surprising is half of the population by the age of 14 will have struggled with a mental illness. So it's out there, and even though it may not seem like people are talking about it or it's a thing, it's out there and it's happening. And mental illness, for the definitions, I don't think I gave that, is more along the lines of a medical condition. So it's like any other thing that a professional can diagnose. No Google searches, but it disrupts life. So it disrupts thinking, it disrupts feelings, moods, ability to relate to one another in the daily functioning. So again, it can range on a spectrum. And just because there's a diagnosis, or let's say you have a diagnosis or you know somebody who has a diagnosis, doesn't mean that their mental health is, they have their own individual mental health. So I like to give this example. I could know somebody who is diagnosed schizophrenic, but who is functioning really well and is really on this side of the mental health spectrum. Whereas I could know somebody who has generalized anxiety disorder or another anxiety or major depression who may not be handling it well. And for whatever reason, their mental health is not doing good right now, and they may need some professional help. So if you find yourself on the top of the scale, so good standing mental health, you're feeling good, you're feeling healthy, even emotionally, like you may not have some bad days, but you're able to kind of walk through them. The way that you can keep that up is self-care and social support. If you start slipping towards the mentally ill, poor mental health, you should definitely seek some professional help, but also self-care and social support will definitely benefit you as well. We're going to focus on this video on just the self-care and the social support side. So social support you can obviously get at Set Free. That is something that we definitely strive to give everybody, is a support system that they can use to kind of help walk through life. But I do want to talk about self-care. So self-care is a lot more than just treat yourself, as the kids say, I guess. Self-care is really nurturing who you are. So I kind of like to think about this because we're all adults. Well, most of us are adults. We don't have parents that are that we rely on for care. So most of us are living on our own, living with spouses, living wherever we're living. But even if you are living with your parents as an adult, it doesn't mean that they are that nurturing, caring person that they used to be. Because we all grow out of it. That's something that naturally happens. We all end up growing up, becoming independent ourselves. But because our parents stopped caring, giving us that nurture and that love, that direct nurture where we are dependent on them, we become more independent. But are you nurturing yourself and providing that love just like your parents were beforehand? Or hopefully your parents. Some people just did not grow up with loving parents, so now you have to learn from scratch. How do you care about yourself? How do you love yourself? What are you doing for yourself? So there are a lot of different aspects of self-care. Some of these I honestly, until I got in this field, had no idea. So the first one is academic or work health. So if you're in school, this applies to you. If you are working, if you are a stay-at-home mom, that's a job. So for academic or work health, take a break. This means take a lunch. I know I can get so caught up in what I'm doing that I'm like, just eat and do it, or I just skip lunch today. No, take that lunch. That's self-care. Set limits and boundaries with friends, families, teachers, bosses, colleagues, all of the above. Save your energy. Save your energy for you. Save your energy for whatever you do. Save your energy for your kids, your spouse, whoever it is. But set those limits and set those boundaries. Balancing your workload so that no part of your day is too much. I know that some people out there, some jobs just, they don't allow you to have that luxury, but you're not working all the time. So you have the rest of the hours that you're awake to kind of balance out and figure out what to do. And then create a peer support group. So that can be at Set Free, that can be life groups, can be any of those things. The next one is emotional health. I think this is what everybody kind of thinks of when they think of self-care. So allowing yourself to cry. Fun fact, crying is actually good for your pores. It is good for your skin. Nothing like a good cry. Cuddling with a pet or under a good blanket. I'd highly recommend getting a weighted blanket. Those are the best. Finding things that make you laugh, whatever that may be. A funny show, TV, funny movie, maybe. Anything to kind of get you laughing. And positive affirmations. So telling yourself, I am enough, I can do this, which may sound really kind of lame and dumb, but it works. I could not. You'd be surprised if you really sat down and thought about what you think of. It's probably going to be negative. I know I'm telling myself constantly like I can't, or I don't want to, or all these things about like me, but I never catch myself saying, wow, I can do this. I am enough. I'm worth it. Anything like that. Spiritual health. So this can be prayer. This can be worship. This can be maybe having a good conversation with a mentor or a leader. This can be practicing self-forgiveness. This can be looking for inspiration. This could be looking at God's wonder and in nature. All right, personal health. This is another aspect of self-care. This could be make a vision board. I know that also sounds super, I don't know what you call it, life coach, therapy, mumbo jumbo, but again, kind of focusing on the future and the positives of it and figuring out what you want in life is a really good thing to kind of think about, or maybe make an activity out of it. Go on a date by yourself. I know since we're obviously in COVID times that that's not going to be that easy, but do what you can. Spend some time treating yourself to a nice dinner or a nice walk or whatever you can. And also with friends, obviously be safe when you do that. Set short and long-term goals. Find ways to relax. All of those things can help your personal health. Physical health is pretty self-explanatory. Eat regularly. Take a walk. Turn off your phone. Turn off your notifications. Get enough sleep. All of those things affect your physical health, which will affect your mental health. Psychological health. Psychological health. So that would be like journaling. writing down your prayers. Read for fun. Read something that you enjoy. Notice what's going on inside of you. What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking right now? Think about your positive qualities. This can kind of go along with the positive affirmations. All do the same thing. So those are some options. Obviously, that's not an extensive list of what you can do for self-care. There's plenty, but I want to leave you with this question. What are you going to do for yourself today to take care and nurture yourself like a parent would their child?